Did you get that thing from Whitaker, by the way?
No.
He added something to the schedule and he's going to miss 10 sessions. Did you not see that? He sent, I think he sent an invite out. Anyway, you didn't see it.
No, I didn't. But that means he's going to miss 10 more after this?
That's the way I read it. I thought he was going to be here tonight.
Wow. All right, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're up, as they say.
Yep. Okay. I'm not going to go through the. I trust everybody saw the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to go through the whole plot for it. Nuts and bolts is this was directed by Sam Raimi in 1999. It was based off a 1991 book by of the same name, For the Love of the Game. Kevin Costner is the lead in it. Billy Chappell, who is an aging pitcher in the major leagues, starting his what will most likely be his final game in the major leagues. The female lead and the love interest is Kelly Preston, who plays Jane Aubrey. She has a daughter, Jenna Preston, who is played by Jenna Preston. Her character's name is Heather. John C. Reilly is the scruffy, likable catcher for the Detroit Tigers, who's the battery mate for Costner, and then I believe it's J.K. Simmons is the manager of the team. This was not a financial success. It box office somewhere in the neighborhood of 48 million on a budget of 50 million, so it was just slightly in the black. There's some video at the early part of the movie that shows young Billy Chappell playing baseball with his dad. That is, in fact, young Kevin Costner playing baseball with his dad.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's home movies. Costner also forewent his typical $20 million salary on this for the right to have a final cut on the edit on this thing, which is pretty unusual for an actor. Pretty much only directors and producers get that sort of right if they get it at all. The other thing I wanted to point out was I've seen this movie a number of times. I picked it because it's baseball playoff season, so that's where my head is right now. The story of Billy Chappell is sort of reminiscent of what happened in Major League Baseball this year to a pitcher by the name of Adam Wainwright, who pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals. And he hung around this year because he wanted to win his 200th game in the major leagues. He had a dreadful season. He only won 5 games. He was pitching batting practice most of the year. They almost pulled him from the rotation. But on his last start of this season, and it ended up being the last start of his career, he did in fact win his 200th game. And that's the main reason he was hanging around. Was it's a landmark win in Major League Baseball. The baseball part of this movie, I think, is pretty good. Costner threw most of his pitches himself. There was one day where he estimated threw around 300 pitches in one day. Normally, these days, a major league starter will throw 75, 85, 95 pitches, rarely getting into 100. And Costner knew that the next day he was going to have to throw a lot of pitches again. So he went to the New York Yankee trainer, the actual trainer, and said, "Hey, give me a shot." And so he gave him steroids so he could pitch another couple hundred innings the next day and finish this out. He was a passable impression for a pitcher, but not that great. The love story in this is, upon reflection, looking at it critically, I think pretty pathetic. Doesn't hold up really well. It's pretty predictable. and you just, it's there to consume one half of the movie. The other reason I really like this movie, however, is that it also features Vin Scully, and Scully is probably, I think all of you may know, was the longtime broadcaster for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He also did a lot of sports for NBC and CBS during a 67-year career as a baseball announcer. He also did some NFL play-by-play and some golf for CBS. Scully was the announcer for his entire career for the Los Angeles Dodgers, going way back to when they were in Brooklyn. And his time as a as a play-by-play announcer spanned between 1950 and 2016. And that basically includes what I regard as the golden age of baseball, the 1950s and in the 60s, where they had lots of heroic players, and it was still regarded as a national pastime. And from the reading that I've done on this, Scully read the script of for the movie. He also went back and he read the book, and then he improvised his lines to fit the circumstances of the play-by-play. And there's one passage I'd like to read to you that sums up. This is quintessential Vin Scully on any broadcast. He would always urge listeners to pull up a chair and listen to him, because it was time for Dodger baseball. And through the technology of the last 20 years, I heard a lot of Vin Scully Dodger broadcasts out there, and he was magnificent. This is one passage, sort of towards the end of the game, that Scully improvises as part of his play-by-play. I'll just read it here. Quote, after 19 years in the big leagues, Billy Chappell has trudged to the mound for over 4,000 innings. But tonight, he's pitching against time. He's pitching against the future, and against age, and against ending. Tonight, he'll make the fateful walk to the loneliest spot in the world, the pitching mound at Yankee Stadium, to push the sun back into the sky and give us one more day of summer. That's quintessential Vin Scully, either from a script or from when he was doing a play-by-play. And that and just listening to Scully, and then watching this movie more critically than just as a baseball fan this time around, I found Scully's work great. He died, I think, in 2022 at the age of 88. No, maybe he was a little older than that. So I really enjoyed Scully's work, and I thought that was perfect Vin Scully. I think it's a decent baseball movie. It's a lousy and sort of trite love story, but it's playoff baseball time, and baseball was on my mind, and that's why I selected the movie, and with a big tip of the cap to Vin Scully's work in it. So that's what I think about it. I hope everybody found something to like about it. But like I say, if it's, I'm not a fan of the love story, but I'm a fan of the baseball elements.
I've got 3 comments maybe you can help me with. One, and you kind of answered, the way Vin Scully sounds so much like a normal broadcast of him. I wondered if he had written his own lines for that, or ad-libbed, as you said. It didn't sound like somebody else had manufactured it, because I don't know how you would.
Yeah. I can think of a number of different broadcasts of Scully where he would routinely, during a game, he would sometimes get criticized by fans for being over their head. It wasn't unusual for him to quote Shakespeare or another author during a play-by-play of a game. There was one story that I remember vividly. He was talking about two young high school pitchers that the night before had won the big the high quadruple A state baseball championship game, and he said that both of the pitchers pitched the entire game. They went into extra innings. They both pitched 21 innings in this game, and at the end of it, he said, and the next day when they got out of bed, neither one of them could pull a comb through their hair because their arms were so tired. Yeah, I mean, he just told stories like that all the way through.
My second observation, I suppose you noticed as well, but his mom and dad both got credits in the movie, and I assume that was them at the end waving when he came off the field up in the third deck or second deck.
Yeah, and then like I say, the whole movie video from the beginning of it was Costner actually playing ball with his dad.
And my last thing was his name, Chapel. Did you read it? It's like that seemed to have a lot more symbolic significance than just a random baseball pitcher name.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really thought about that, although you'll hear people every once in a while say that Wrigley Field or Dodger Stadium or Fenway Park, the classic old baseball stadiums in
like a cathedral
in the game are cathedrals of baseball. So,
yeah.
There may have been something there.
Well, and they
I
made that reference at the end of the movie too.
Vin Scully did, yeah. I was wondering if they had tossed that in there, the name, just so he could say that. I didn't. I'm like Madsen, I couldn't tell.
Wouldn't be surprised.
The baseball part kept me interested because it kept breaking and going into she and her daughter, or she and her new boyfriend, but then it always came back to the game.
Well, I something I read, and I loved the way the way he was doing flashbacks about his life, and he was flashing back between pitches. They would go all over the. I thought that was a great way to unfold the story. And I like a good baseball. This is like Costner's made like 2 or 3 baseball movies, right? I mean, he was
3 of them now.
One with Tim Robbins, and when he successfully pitches a perfect game, and all the excitement and I mean, I got emotional. I the same way in The Natural, which I think is a fantastic, when Redford hits the home run and knocks out the lights in the stadium. I mean, I had the same kind of emotion watching the perfect game sequence as I did that home run with The Natural. So I love the movie. Really good.
I'd never seen it before, and I would have bet you $100 that young kid got a hit off him.
Yeah. That when the first time I saw it, I thought the same thing. Like, damn it, it's going to be a swinging by.
You wanted so much for him to get there. Was curious about that.
There's another baseball writer, very well known by the name of Roger Angel, who wrote a similar book. I don't know, probably 25 years ago, dealing with the same thing. The last time a particular pitcher would go out into the field, and they would use flashbacks in the same way. He was trying to throw a no-hitter rather than a perfect game, and he lost the no-hitter with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah. So who's got Wayno's rights?
Find that out. He's doing play-by-play, or was doing it during an earlier round of the playoffs, and he was pretty good at it. So,
yeah.
Don't forget, Costner had Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams and Bull Durham.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was also a pretty big baseball movie.
I go back and forth. I think I like Bull Durham more than I do Field of Dreams, even though Field of Dreams has got an obvious Iowa connection to it.
I thought Bull Durham was a good comedy too.
Yeah.
It had a lot of good comedy in it. Whereas this one, the rom-com and everything there wasn't too much comedy going on. It wasn't really a rom-com, it was just a rom.
Yeah, just a ROM.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I'm glad Mike agreed that the love story part was we probably got about twice as much as we actually needed.
Uh-huh.
You know, that 2 hours and 17 minutes, we could have at least done without 17 minutes of that nonsense. By the time it was over, I was calling it Sleepless in New York.
You're bad. I thought it was very Hallmark-esque, the way that the story began, and even as it played through, you know, they break up and they get back together. Of course, in the ending, there's a big old smooch, you know, so that's the way the Hallmark movies are as well. But Roger Ebert said it has a screenplay that lumbers between past and present like regret on a death march. That was kind of humorous, but it had its good parts, but it dragged in several areas that they probably could have shortened it up a few frames and still would have been all right.
Yeah, the one guy I really sort of liked on the romance side of it was the Yankee fan at the bar at the airport, who was Pete. It reminds me of every New York Yankee fan I've ever met.
Yeah, I know the Hallmark things to look for, because when I was talking about my wife's grandmother, she would only watch the Hallmark channel. So when we went over there, we might get 4 or 5 hours of it. And you pretty much figure out there's one plot that they just kind of redo all the time.
Are you sure you just weren't watching it for 15 minutes, but it seemed like 5 hours?
That very well could have been true. But I have heard though that they've come up with a second plot for the Hallmark movie. So I'll be anxious to see what that is someday, so I can have something to pick from when I go to somebody else's house and it's on. I thought John C. Reilly was a good character. He's always played, you know, the friend and all that kind of sort of stuff. He seemed to be
Ain't
there.
first, you're last.
Yep. He seemed to be there for Billy quite a bit, you know. Save some of that, you know. You got a long game going here. We want to go. We're gonna keep you in the game. Don't worry about it.
And Billy called him the world's ugliest wife.
Yeah, it was the ugliest baseball wife.
Yeah. It was funny.
I think the way they stretched that out to be 6 outs instead of the last 3 outs, I think that kind of helped me anyway, because I mean that's sort of what we were going for anyways, to kind of see how this thing played out. And you know, getting a look at, usually a movie like this, they'll just focus on the last 3 outs, and this one did 6 outs, you know, and you're like, okay, I get it. This is what this is about. And it added to the tension of the ending, you know. But I would have bet he would have got the perfect game. I mean, after the 8th inning, for sure.
Well, if FanDuel would have been around in 1999, you could have laid a bet on it.
Not in Missouri.
Really? What do you do if it's all on television and stuff? How does Missouri know what you're watching?
It just does.
Well, because in Illinois has sports betting, Kansas has sports betting, and when I know that when somebody, say, trying to bet, place a bet down in Kansas, when I place that bet, it pings back to my location, and they won't take the bet if you're not betting from within the state of Kansas.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to give them a phone number or some technology data point that they can find out that you're located elsewhere. But You can't do it.
Big Brother's watching you to see how you bet.
The Michael Shaara is the author of this.
Yeah.
I recognized that name when it came up in the credits, and I thought that he wrote. There's a Civil War trilogy that some of you guys might be aware of, written by the Shaaras, but Michael is the father. He wrote the first book of that trilogy, called The Killer Angels.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I've read that. Yeah, I've read that
Yeah,
book.
I have too.
And the last one is Last Full Measure. I forget what the second one is called, but
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. And but anyway, so I'm thinking that, well, I don't know if he wrote this book. He did write this book towards the end of his life. And I'm thinking that kind of was highly anticipated by the movie industry, because Shaara had a pretty good name for himself. So I'm guessing that, there was a lot of people that were chomping at the bits to get a piece of this movie.
Yeah. I thought Killer Angels was about Gettysburg, but apparently
Yeah, I
not.
think it is.
Well,
I'm looking it up right now.
they-
Gods, what is it? Gods and Generals.
Gods and Generals, yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Killer Angels and The Last Full Measure.
I knew
Killer
that generals in it,
Killer
but I couldn't think of it.
leads up to the Civil War, or the beginnings of the Civil War. And I mean, they're in sequence. Gods and Generals would be, during the Civil War, and then Last Full Measure, which I thought was a really good book, was about, them finally capturing Lee and all that.
Yeah, I think they made a movie called Gods and Generals.
Yeah.
That was all about Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it.
Well,
Maybe I'm
it's
getting
the bulk of
confused
it.
with another.
No, I think it was this was it was Andrew Jackson and when he got his name as Stonewall in the first battle of Bull Run.
That's Thomas Jackson to you.
Who?
Thomas Jackson. Thomas Stonewall Jackson. Look at
Andrew's
Jackson
another,
there.
You guys
There he
better, you
stands
guys
like a
better.
Stonewall.
Andrew's another wing of the Jackson family.
Oh, did I say Andrew? Oh,
Yeah.
bad on me. What an idiot. Sorry. Shit.
So do you think that a lot of these images in the movie was it all filmed, or do you think they took images from real games?
No, I think
I mean,
the way I understand it is they filled Yankee Stadium with extras, or at least a fair portion of it. That all the game shots were staged for the film, as opposed to, because you don't see any. I don't remember seeing any sort of significant difference in the film stock being used in it. And then if Costner was throwing as many pitches as he said he did over the course of this thing and needed a shot to continue to pitch and ease the pain and steroids and all that, they could have shot some of it with just a batter's eye, but I don't think they did.
Did they all the games, were they in Yankee Stadium?
Well, it was just one game.
There was never a flashback to another game at another stadium.
I don't remember seeing other games.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think he's got that Road Detroit image that's behind Sanders and McCluskey on, and behind you, Bill. He's got it on for every scene.
You should have
I
watched
didn't
it.
realize it was all just one game.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be one game. It was to be a
Well, no,
perfect game.
I mean, there was the game where the outfielder had the ball fly off his glove,
Oh, on his
bounced
head.
off his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hart.
Mhm.
And that was a different game because
Yeah, there was a couple of game sequences in there.
I
but
guess so.
largely it was the perfect game. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because then the guy that with the ball, he made a key out in his pursuit for the perfect game, right? He jumped up and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
run away. So,
Yeah. He was like the
Yeah.
big hero in the. Yeah, everything came back around for sure.
I was trying to remember the kid, the last batter. His first pitch, he hit a foul, like a screaming foul ball, and then he swung and missed, and then it was the dribble grounder that Costner picked up and threw. Right? Was that the last out? Costner threw him out.
Yeah.
Is that moved to his right?
No, Costner missed it, went off his glove.
Yeah, it went off his glove, the third baseman, I think, or the shortstop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you thought it was going to get away from him on an error, and he was
Me
going to have a
too.
base
Yeah.
runner.
Yeah.
I know that the kid that Swedish Mike said would be safe. Man, they got him by a long way for as
Yeah.
slow motion as
Yeah.
it was. It was like, oh my God, he's already been there for like
All that rolling around, and he beat him by 2 or 3 steps.
Yeah.
That's a movie.
Yeah. So I guess he retired.
Well, Jeff, what'd you think, Arthur? I guess they
I
really
enjoyed it. I'm not really a baseball fan or really any sports fan, but I enjoyed the sports part of it. I didn't mind the romance part either. That actress Kelly, whatever, she's not hard to look at. So it was good. I mean, I kept me interested the whole time. I liked that kind of I think it was clear mechanism. That was kind of neat.
The mechanism, yeah.
Kind of zones out.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
I'm sorry.
Kelly Preston was John Travolta's wife, and she died of breast cancer, I think, in 2020.
Yeah, she was 57. Kind of was tragic.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that.
I knew she was. I was just looking it up. I knew she was somebody's wife, and I couldn't remember if that's what it was.
So
And then, Mike, didn't, it seems like in the wiki story, they said that, who's the Mission Impossible actor? He was,
Oh, Tom Cruise.
Cruise was somebody they originally wanted for some reason. And that's when Costner got in the middle there and said, I'll do it. And you don't have to pay me or something.
I know they can do a lot of things with camera angles, but Cruise is what, like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8"?
If that. Yeah.
He's a short guy.
Yeah, I think that would have been problematic to shoot him, but
I-
They're gonna get him for the Cookie Rojas story.
Costner looked the part. He always does in a baseball movie, I think. He throws well. It
Yeah.
doesn't look forced. It looks like a guy who grew up throwing baseballs.
I wonder if he was quite the athlete in his younger years.
I don't know.
I think he was a pretty good jock in high school, if I recall, just off the top of my head.
And I was kind of wondering why he didn't like save his woodworking hobby until after he retired.
No kidding.
Oh my God, man! You cut off your throwing hand. I mean, it's not off. Of course, he got to use it again. But man, why would you be taking a chance with your pitching hand?
How is that in his contract to not do that?
Yeah, he should have taken advice from another one of his characters, Crash Davis in Bull Durham, and says, never throw a punch with your punching hand, with your throwing hand.
Exactly.
So does anybody know a pro athlete or a good athlete? Is that kind of how they act out there? Do they have special traits, do you think, or abilities? I guess I've never really known a baseball player.
You should ask Whitaker this question because he had a
Yeah.
Cardinal live in his basement for a while.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
was working his way up to and he ended up playing for the St. Louis Cardinals too.
In fact, he's still in the major leagues.
Yeah. But
He's
so
still
where did
he's still bouncing around. Yeah, Whit would be a good one. I used to know a guy by the name of Bobby Denier, who was from Raytown and had a pretty successful career in the major leagues. And he was pretty much a regular guy. He was playing in the 80s and early 90s, and so I mean he was making nice money, but nothing like what a lot of them do today. He was pretty much a regular guy, and he was always because I heard him tell the story a million times. He was always aware of how special it was to be a gifted athlete, and he said that there are some anyway that know that they've got a special talent and they're appreciative of it. Others assume that this is me. I'm better than you, and it's your character flaw if you don't get why I'm special. But Denier was never like that. He was pretty much a regular guy.
I had lunch at Bryant's Barbecue with Bob Boone one time, and his brother-in-law, who called on me at Western Auto, and he ate his ribs like everybody else.
One rib at a time.
a bit of time? Yeah.
The true sign of regular guyness.
Well, I would imagine that was pretty accurate the way he was out there in the diamond, talking to himself, shaking off the catcher and doing that kind of thing. I think that's another thing I enjoyed about it. I guess like everybody else, if you kind of take out the love story part of it and, just took the pitcher's take on everything, it was, there were parts of it that were pretty interesting.
The scene where he also showed a bit of a mean streak when he goes ballistic and sweeps all this stuff off the vanity in the bathroom, if you remember that, and basically tells her to hit the road. I mean, so he did have his edge, his dark side.
It seemed a little out of character to me, like he was a thinking pitcher, and then he wasn't, and then he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he was a Buddhist pitcher, and then all of a sudden he was a all-star wrestling guy or something.
That's what women will do for you.
Oh my God.
I don't think he liked people telling him that he wasn't going to be able to come back from cutting his handle.
Right.
Hey, you guys remember Gary Larson's, right? The cartoonist,
Sure.
Far Side. I've always thought of that. It's a split panel, and on one side you got these like normal guys in the football locker, and the coach is going, and you just remember they put on their pants one leg at a time, and on the other side you got these big bruiser guys jumping into their pants at both legs at the same time.
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
All right, so who's next
There
week?
wasn't that. He didn't do that. I just thought it up. I thought that'd be a good one.
Oh, I got you.
That's me.
Oh, it's Mr. Manson. Okay.
Next week. And Mike, you're the only one I can think of that might have seen this, but it's called Stories We Tell.
I don't know.
Okay.
Who did it?
Sarah Polly. It's the story about a mother who passed away. Sarah Polly was the youngest daughter, and she assembles her family to do this thing about who their mom was, what she was like. It's kind of like a giant game of telephone. You start a secret over here, and by the time it comes around the room, it's kind of everybody's perception a little bit different on who mom was and how mom was and the things you learn. It's about an hour 45. Unfortunately, it's only on Freevee and Canopy. So Freevee, you can load that if you don't have it, but you get about 5 ads during the course of the thing for 2 or 3 ads a piece. It's also the regular rental options. If you want to get it on Vudu or Prime or whatever.
But you know, if you don't have Canopy, you should get it.
Yeah, it's not available to me in Whitaker. We only have the other one, whatever the other library one is.
Mm-hmm.
Hoopla.
Hoopla, yeah.
What's it called? Canopy?
Canopy with a K.
K.
Kanopy.
You have to sign up at your library or through your library.
Oh,
And then it's free.
And Freevee, that's one I hadn't loaded a streaming channel, but it's got some
It's actually-
content.
It's
Huh?
owned by Amazon. It's Amazon's
Yeah,
Tubi,
yeah, uh-huh.
is what it is.
Hmm.
Since Amazon's got so much product left over, now that they are movie producers, they're trying to find places to play them. The ones that are 1 star,
Yeah.
I should say 2 star. All right, that sounds like fun.
Plus, got some awards and kind of takes some interesting turns in it. So you'll either like it or not. And that's
When did
Yeah.
it come out?
2012.
Well,
She's Canadian. It's a Canadian based movie, but it was up for a Academy for something and some other awards. So
mhm.
All right, and so next week is going to be Pete.
Yes,
All right,
unless some other M's have snuck into our mix that we didn't notice.
and then Chris, you think you'll be ready after Pete?
I'm ready now.
Oh, look at there.
look at this.
She's like lunch meat. Always ready.
Always ready.
I have several titles picked out. I have decided exactly which one to choose, but I don't know. I'm sure that Mr. Atkinson will find fault in whatever it is, short of being a Disney Finding Nemo movie. Terry.
Are there any fish that die in that?
Yeah, there's what aggressive characters in the tank in the dentist's office.
Chris, do not pick The Big Year 2.
Okay.
I
Was there
gonna say-
one?
No, there was not.
Or what was the width?
Which was Moonstruck.
Moonstruck. There you go.
And so Mahoney's movie is like half Moonstruck is really
Yeah.
what it is. And but it's not even close to Big Year. Big Year's on its own level, I think.
Yeah,
It was.
Big Year was beyond apparently for a lot of people.
I liked the movie Pete.
I'm just kidding, Pete. I liked it. And I really liked your presentation when you tried to sell it to us. You're the best salesman I've ever met. And you got me loving it by the time
I was- You have to eliminate every objection, you know.
Can't
I'd
get
like
any.
to throw out something I just saw a couple of days ago. It just came out on Prime, The Burial with Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. It's a movie, not terribly long. He plays a flashy attorney. Tommy Lee Jones is a Southern guy that owns a small chain of funeral homes, and there's a battle royale with a big conglomerate that was trying to buy him out, and that's all I'm going to tell you about. But really interesting little story on Prime.
What's the
And
name?
also just wanted to say pay a tribute, a moment of silence for Suzanne Summers, who passed away.
There you go.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's your movie, Pete? Again, the name?
it's called The Burial on Prime. Only available on Prime.
Pete, I think that The Burial, it's also free on Prime, isn't it?
Could be. I'm a Prime member, so yeah, I didn't have to rent it or anything. Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
I mean, so many of those movies on Prime.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
Yeah. No, I watched it too, Pete. It's got
Did
it's got a lot of redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
I lived in Jackson for 5 years, so when they talk about the Hinds County Courthouse and some of those things, it's not the courthouse that I walked into.
Yeah.
They talk about Hinds County as being this rural little place that's mostly black, and then they start showing you helicopter shots of the state legislature and the Capitol and all that, and then you go like when you walk into the local courthouse, it's like walking into the Supreme Court in Washington. Is what it looks like. So some of those things kind of bugged me because I was hoping it would be more like Ghost of
Yeah.
Mississippi, where they actually shot it there and used those things that you could identify with. But
Well,
anyway, no,
is the courthouse in Jackson pretty elegant or not?
no, I mean it's nice. I mean it's an old county courthouse, you know.
All right.
That you would think that you know that you were going to watch you know the what's the I'm trying to think of damn it I hate
To
it.
Kill a Mockingbird.
Well, it could have been To Kill a
Kind of.
Mockingbird, but
Or Inherit the Wind? Are you thinking about it? Inherit the Wind?
Inherit the Wind is what I was thinking about. It had a balcony.
Turning 70 sucks, doesn't it?
Really? I thought I was 64. What? No, yeah, it does. But yeah, no, as a matter of fact, I got called to jury duty several times. And so, you know, I got to see the inner workings of it too, the other side of the bench. And it was crazy because, you know, the judges knew me and stuff like that. And they would say, is there anything else that you want to tell us? And I would say, yeah, I work for Channel 16 as a reporter. And the opposing attorney would go, whoa, he's out. And I couldn't get him to do it before I walked in. I had to sit there and wait till it was my turn, you know.
Jackson is the whole.
Spend my time.
Yeah, same thing happened to me every time I got called for jury duty. You'd get up there and so what do you do for a living? I'm a TV reporter. Tom, you're out. Okay. Can we just do this at the beginning of it? Because you know, I know, blah, blah, blah.
Instead of being with 800 of your friends for the morning while you
Exactly.
sort things out.
Although I did cover a trial up in St. Joseph, Buchanan County. It was a murder trial. They got moved out of Kansas City up there, and when the trial went to the jury, I knew the county clerk pretty well from other things, and this was the courthouse and the courtroom where they tried Jesse James killer and Frank Howard, and so this jury was out about at least 2 days, maybe 3, and there were 3 or 4 of us that just went through the trial record and was just reading the transcript. It was pretty cool.
And of course, you mean William Howard.
I don't know. I might mean William Taft. Who knows?
Frank James.
But anyway, it's a good movie, Pete. I'm not knocking the movie. I'm just saying I was hoping for some more of the local flavor there that I did get. But
is it a new release?
Looky here.
Yeah, just
brand
dropped,
new.
I think. Yeah.
Here we go.
There's Jeff Copeland. Wow.
Come on.
Come on, Jeff.
You got 7 minutes, Jeff.
Okay, well, I'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. It's good. Good.
Yeah. Now that Jeff's here, see you guys later.
Right. And since we're not
good.
meeting until
Great.
after Thanksgiving,
Looking
make
at
sure-
presentation.
How you doing, Jeff?
Okay,
Good.
Good. So we've threw out what the movie is for next week.
yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Stories
We tell.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
now we're just throwing out other movies to watch or things to watch, and we've had a couple. Pete said The Burial, and I was gonna throw one out. I think it might have come up before, but since it's baseball season, I'm gonna throw out this Frontline story called The Astros Edge. I think it's just a single video, but it's a Frontline episode, and it's about I think it's about the Astros cheating scandal from a couple of years ago.
How's that
Okay.
one?
Trash can gate.
Yeah. And then last Saturday night, I went with my granddaughter they had a movie in the parks, and it was Cars, and that was pretty good. I'd never seen it before, but it was like
I love Tomater.
Paul Newman's last movie. He played one of the cars. So it's
Huh.
good.
It is good. So
I
is
saw
Cars
that.
2
with
and
my
Cars 3.
grandsons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd like 3 or 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
yeah. And Larry the Cable Guy is the tow truck in a lot of them.
Yep. Tow Mater. Mhm.
Tow Mater.
Yeah, and Owen Wilson, he plays the car, right?
Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Owen Wilson.
No, the other
I
one.
know it looks like I have my hand up here, but I really don't.
Oh, wait, the hand up thing. We didn't do that today.
No, we
Terry.
didn't. I've got a couple I want to knock out before we run out of time. Let's see, I wrote them down here. Oh, one of them is called No Man's Land. It's from 2001. It's about the Bosnia-Herzegovina war. And on two sides, some guys go at each other in the middle and they get trapped there, one from each side, and one who is a third one who ends up as a human booby trap because he's laying on a mine. And they try to get out of this. It's I thought it was interesting. It is listed as a comedy and a drama. So I don't know if you would find much comedy and war there, Terry, but these guys interacting while they're waiting for help and while the UN is trying to act like it knows what it's doing is where the comedy comes from. And it's an hour and 38, and I can't remember where you can see it, but I'll send the information to Mahoney.
Okay.
And then the second one is 45 Years is the name of it. And this is a romance drama that starred Charlotte Rampling, a British actor. It's an hour and 35 minutes. It's from 2015. And before they have their 45th anniversary, they receive some earth-shattering news that changes the way they think about their lives. And that's the tagline for that story. And it's available in a number of different places. And again, I'll send that to Mahoney. I wrote it up already. Anybody else? No?
I watched on Netflix, Live to 100, The Secrets of the Blue Zones. There's about half a dozen different places in the world where people live to 100 plus easily. And most of them aren't eating a lot of junk food and they walk everywhere. Things aren't automatic or automated, and like Okinawa, Japan is one place. Let me look here. Sardinia.
There's a place in California. Where was it in California?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm not seeing it on here right now, but that was the place that they told about.
Yeah, you wouldn't
Place.
suspect it, but
Yeah. It's kind of interesting.
I bought the Blue Zone cookbook a few years ago. Kind of aware of it. My wife has been watching that, and that's one I kind of like to watch too myself.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
Is
me too. Yeah.
Alcohol part of their regimen at all?
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yes.
I don't think it's not a part of the regimen.
Okay.
So you're in luck there.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm in.
a Blue Zoner.
And no, I saw ads for that, Chris, and it got me interested just seeing
Yeah.
the promos and things. Yeah.
It's
Especially
good.
because my new goal is to live to be 100. So I got to figure out how to do this.
Awesome.
Well, you've been
Dan,
to one of these places because it's mostly the local foods, you know.
And Jeff, you know this is Sanders' birthday.
Oh. No, I did not, but happy birthday, Mike.
Birthday.
Well, thank you.
You finally
Happy
caught up.
birthday, Mike.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of this group, I think. Oh, besides Jeff.
Yeah, right.
and Pete,
And Pete,
Other than that, you're the youngest.
I don't know if this is part of their longevity thing, but there was the science that they did on rats, where the ones that they fed half as much lived twice as long, or something like that. The humans on a 2,000 calorie a day diet. So if you want to live longer, just quit eating. so much.
That's true. That's true.
Drink more water, probably.
Yeah.
What?
Walking more.
Drink more water
Yeah, water and
and beer.
And wine.
And chocolate,
Yeah.
coffee.
Anybody else got one they want to throw in there? How'd you made it in, Jeff?
Yes, I had a horrendous lip laceration to fix.
Everything go okay?
Yeah, she's a 90-year-old lady, very much with the program, and she fell onto her face about noon and just trashed her lip.
Wow.
that brings up a question I have. What happened to Joaquin Phoenix's lip?
I think he had
He
a
has that
cleft.
scar.
I think he had a cleft lip.
Oh, really? It was like a birth defect that got fixed?
That's what
Okay.
it looks like.
I'd never heard. I had no idea. But it's so amazing that someone with that much of a deformity is an actor. It's really kind of weird.
Stacy
actually.
Keach. Stacy Keach has one too.
Mhm.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and Keach's situation was he in an accident? Because I think I've seen films and programs where it doesn't look like he has a problem with his lip, and then all of a sudden he does. So was he in an accident or what? Anybody know?
Wow, you got
This
me,
is going to call for some research.
man.
and then there's that guy, remember Gladiator's aide de camp? The guy with the big scar. He was also in what the gang movie.
Oh, right.
the
Yeah, I know who you're
series.
talking about. Michael, somebody.
Yeah, I don't know that guy's name, but I mean that's got a nasty. I mean his whole cheek was split open.
What's called
But it adds a little bit of realism
Fire?
to movies that these guys aren't all perfect.
Even
Yeah.
Harrison Ford had a little scar on his lip.
Or Seal.
Mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got something?
I have
on
one
your
right
face
there.
Jeff.
Oh my God.
Jeff, it
I
looks
can
like you
fix
have something on your face there.
Hey, there was
So-
another actor in our movie tonight that I really liked. What's his name? Brian Wilcox.
Oh, Brian
Brian
Cox.
Cox.
That played
Brian
the
Cox.
former owner. Yeah, he's
Yeah, the
cool.
owner. Another Succession guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, folks, it's 8:00.
Okay. We'll see everybody next week. We don't
See you
have
next week.
a big holiday or anything, do we?
No,
Okay.
Think so. Not yet.
nice talking to you guys.
Yeah,
See you,
take
Carl.
care.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Thanks for
Later.
dropping by.
Sure,
Bye.
happy birthday,
Happy
Mike.
birthday, Mike.
Happy
Happy birthday, Mike.
Okay.